Hey guys, it's Eric G from Around the House Show. Is your barbecue just barely holding on and you need to upgrade it for the big game? We got you covered. Monument Grills was founded by three good friends in Atlanta, Georgia that wanted high-quality, durable grills inspired by iconic monuments. The grills are created for the person who loves to cook and are built to last and to enhance your outdoor cooking experience. What I love is that they are the best quality grills for under $900. So check out the American gas grill experts at monumentgrills.com. I bet you'll love to cook on one like I do. Check out the new standard in outdoor cooking at monumentgrills.com.
It's Around the House. On this episode of Around the House.
Well, we've been talking about our cost versus value today, and we were just talking doors and garage doors and stuff before we went out to break. And if you want to find out more about us, head to aroundthehouseonline.com. If you want to have any questions on this, message me here. But now we're going to talk composite deck. What happens when you want to do a composite deck edition? Let's talk about the details first, because it's all about that. We're going to add a 16 by 20 foot deck using pressure-treated joists supported by 4x4 posts, anchored in concrete piers, and we're going to install composite deck material. It's going to be really simple pattern, built-in bench planner. We're going to do stairs, maybe 3 steps to grade.
When it comes to remodeling or renovating your home, there is a lot to know, and we have got you covered. This is Around the House.
Welcome to the Around the House Show, the next generation of home improvement. I'm Eric G. Thanks for joining me today. To find out more about us, head over to aroundthehouseonline.com. And this hour is brought to you by our friends at Monument Grills. If you're looking for that great new barbecue, something with a ton of value, something under $900, check it out at monumentgrills.com. Well, today we've been talking about kind of cost versus value. What's remodeling cost right now versus what's the return you get on some of these projects? Now, if you're listening to the last hour of the show, we were talking about the interior stuff. And, you know, some of this stuff here, depending where you're located, had a great return. You know, a minor kitchen remodel last hour could bring you back as much as 123%. But that primary suite addition only brought back 29.1% in some areas. So really, we're talking about what's it cost, what's the value, what's the numbers. And so we're diving into that. This is going to be the exteriors edition here. So we're going to be diving into that and talking about outside projects of what pays and what doesn't. So this is going to be a great one here for you. And this is based off the remodeling cost versus value. You know, basically they do a survey each year, and this is the cost versus value report. So it just takes it. And it's probably the most accurate one I've found out there that really says, okay, what's this cost? And what are the parameters so you kind of get an idea of what that number is? So it kind of gives you an idea what it costs before you tackle it. Now, these are averages, so it doesn't take into special situations and all the different things that can happen, but it's a good ballpark for you. So first off, let's start with an obvious one. What is an entry door replacement cost? So a steel front door. So you're going to remove an existing 3 foot by 6 foot 8 entry door and jambs and replace with a new 20 gauge steel unit, including clear dual pane half glass panel, the jambs, aluminum threshold, composite stop, doors factory finished with the same color both sides, exterior brick mold, 2.5-inch interior colonial range casings in poplar or equal pre-finish to match the door color. Replace existing lock set with a new board lock. Simple, right? So this is not what it costs for you to DIY, but this is what it would cost maybe for a contractor to come in and do it. Just like last hour, we're going to start out kind of east versus west. What's it cost in New York? What's it cost here on the West Coast in Portland? So you can kind of get an idea of what these averages are. And of course, what's the national average? Kind of put those things together. So entry door replacement steel in New York, $2,667. But the resale value is $4,189. So New York, that is a 157.1% return. So far, that is killing all the other projects as far as a return. Plus, we all know that, man, there is nothing like that first impression coming in and that front door is the key. So when it comes to resale, when it comes to curb appeal, if you've got a janky front door that should have been replaced, or it's sticking, or it's not working right, that is where you can make that big difference on really adding that value back to the house. So that to me is super fun and exciting. So the next one here, this is an interesting one. And I like this because it sounds pretty big. So fiberglass grand entrance. So you're moving a 3.068 entry door, and you're going to cut and reframe the opening for basically a combo door. So you got a 12-inch side light, 36-inch door, 12-inch side light. So you've got an entrance door with the side lights on either side. So you're going to have to move the double gang electrical box, a couple switches, fiberglass door blank matches the upscale entry, color threshold lock set, decorative half glass with side lights, match door. You're going to have at least PVC wrapped exterior trim to match the existing trim, and wider interior colonial or ranch casings finished to match the door. So you got reframing, might have a permit in there. You got some electrical that's going to have to move. So a little bit more of a project than just swapping out the door. So if we go back to New York here on the East Coast, you're looking at that in fiberglass. That price is $13,219, and you get 100% return on that. So you get every dime of that back. Now, if you look at that as the national average is $11,353 with a $11,054. So you get a 97.4% return on that for that big door, which is kind of nice because so far we've looked at nothing in the more premium has added up to make a difference. So you've not gotten that return back. So here in Portland, that price is $11,659 with a 116.8% return. So you're getting more money back. So you're very much investing in your house and making that big, impact. And, the fiberglass is way more durable than the steel. The steel, it dents. If you're in a coastal area, it corrodes, it rusts. So it's just a way better deal. So that is a solid investment. So the next up, which is to me one of the biggest things you can do on your house on the front elevation by replacing, that's that garage door. And again, we're talking curb appeal. So garage door replacement. So we're going to go standard here. Remove and dispose of the existing 16 by 7 foot garage door and tracks. Install a new 4-section garage door with a lifetime warranty on new heavy-duty galvanized steel tracks. Reuse the existing motor opener. New door is high tensile string steel with 2 coats of factory applied paint, foam insulated to minimum R12. Thermal seals between pinch resistant panels. Windows in the top panel are 1/2-inch insulated glass. So that's a good medium end door. That's not the full glass. It's not just the steel uninsulated one either. So when we're looking at that in New York, let's say this right now. Obviously, there's not a lot in New York City, not a ton of homes there with 16 by 7 garage doors in the city, but you know what I'm getting at. So that garage door replacement cost there is $4,454. And that return is 217.4%. So you double your money on that investment. That's huge. Now, if we go to Portland here, that is, $4,908 with a 180% return. So our national average on that is $4,513 for the price and 193.9% average. Guys, that is one of the best returns on a major project you can do in your house to get that money back. Considering you look at like the primary suite edition where you're getting 29% back here in Portland. That's a huge deal. So I like that. So that's a big one right there. You can really get there. And of course, you've got something that's more insulated. You've got something more durable. If you've got one of those old wood doors, once you get it kind of that smile in it where the center's starting to drop down, sag a little bit, there's just not much you can do to those. Or if you've got one of those, builder grade specials that's just, getting dented up with just thin aluminum on them, another one that you can really spend some money and save some dough because you're putting that money back in. All right, before we take it outside and get out to the fun spot in the backyard here, we're going to go to break. But first off, I just want to say, if you want to find out more about us, head to aroundthehouseonline.com. And if you're a podcast listener, if you want to look at our premium membership, $4 a month, and it's commercial free, find out more at aroundthehouseonline.com. Well, we're going to go to break, and we come back. We're going to start talking about what's a deck cost. What's that going to cost you, whether it's wood or composite? What's that cost going to be in 2025 here? What are we looking at? We'll do that just as soon as Around the House returns. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Eric G from Around the House Show. Is your barbecue just barely holding on and you need to upgrade it for the big game? We got you covered. Monument Grills was founded by three good friends in Atlanta, Georgia that wanted high-quality, durable grills inspired by iconic monuments. The grills are created for the person who loves to cook and are built to last and to enhance your outdoor cooking experience. What I love is that they are the best quality grills for under $900. So check out the American Gas Grill experts at monumentgrills.com. I bet you'll love to cook on one like I do. Check out the new standard in outdoor cooking at monumentgrills.com. Are you a contractor, landscaper, or small business owner? Are you tired of renting or pulling that worn-out trailer to the job site? Is that really the best look for your company? It's time to up your game and check out the trailers from Summit Trailer. If you want the highest quality trailer you can own, they are proudly made right here in Oregon with a dealer network all along the West Coast. What I love about my Summit trailer is that it's a dump trailer that was designed to work. I can load it up without having to worry about if it's going to be able to lift the load, and it pulls like a dream. This was built to work. So it doesn't matter if you want a dump trailer like mine or a deck over flatbed, tilt bed, or utility trailer. They got a trailer that'll fit your needs. Invest in your business with something you'll feel proud of, pulling up to any job site or your next project. Check out the best trailer in the West at summittrailermfg.com. Check out the dealer locator and find your nearest dealer at summittrailermfg.com.
What's up? This is Sticks Adenia.
And Satchel from Steel Panther. And you are listening to
Around the House with Eric G.
Yeah.
We love Eric G, and you should too.
Welcome back to the Around the House Show, the next generation of home improvement. I'm Eric G. If you're just joining us, we've been talking about cost versus value outside on those outside projects. That stuff that's kind of street or backyard facing or anything around the house. First off, though, before we get into that, let's talk here about our sponsor. That is our friends over at Monument Grills. You're looking for that great barbecue. Maybe yours is toast, or you got somebody that's a brand new homeowner and you want to get them a gift. Check them out at monumentgrills.com. Well, we've been talking about our cost versus value today, and we were just talking doors and garage doors and stuff before we went out to break. And if you want to find out more about us, head to aroundthehouseonline.com. If you want to have any questions on this, message me here. But now we're going to talk composite deck. What happens when you want to do a composite deck addition? Let's talk about the details first, because it's all about that. We're going to add a 16 by 20 foot deck using pressure treated joists supported by 4x4 posts, anchored in concrete piers, and we're going to install composite deck material. It's going to be really simple pattern, built-in bench planner. We're going to do stairs, maybe 3 steps to grade, and really go through and do a complete railing system around it because it's up off the ground of the same composite material. So when you're looking at here in New York, what's the cost of that? Really, we're talking about $30,499, and the return is 75.1. Now, if we look at the national average, it's at 24,206 with a 68.2%. And here out on the West Coast, here in Portland, Oregon, where I'm at, in my metro area, we'd be looking out here on the West Coast. We're talking 23,190 with an 81.2% return. That's really good for a project, better than many around the house. So that's not a bad little place to be. Let's talk wood. If you're like, I'm not doing wood, I want to do wood only. I'm not going to do composite. I don't want plastic. And you want to be out there staining and restaining and all that maintenance. awesome. Here's what they're saying. Same 16 by 20 foot deck using pressure treated joists, all the same stuff as the composite deck. But you're just going to be making it out of basically wood. That's going to be kind of cool. That's all going to be using pressure treated material. This isn't cedar. This isn't redwood. This isn't southern yellow pine, unless it's pressure treated material, whatever that is in your area. And trust me, if you haven't traveled outside of your area much with construction, every region has got it a little bit different. You guys in the South, you guys in the East, us out in the West, way different products out there as far as using a local wood, and we're using it that way. Well, let's get to the numbers. Our numbers here. If we're looking at New York, that deck edition wood, a little cheaper, $21,525. You're a 79.8% return. National average is at $17,515 with an 82.9%. And that's out on the West Coast. Here's the cool thing. It's not too bad, really. $17,200 with an 88.8% return. So we do okay on that. Now, again, you got a lot of maintenance with wood, but it's a little bit extra to get that composite. I totally get it. If you're comparing those, like in my area, you're only talking $17,200 to $20,000 kind of round numbers. You're talking $6,000 between the two, and a lot of life and maintenance in there, depending on where you live. Now, to me, I'm not a huge composite finished deck guy. Here's why. They never look as good as the day you have it installed. And to be honest, I'm not a fan of living on that pressure treated surface. If you got kids, you got dogs, I don't know. It's not as deadly as it used to be, but I don't like those chemicals and what they do. Now it's a lot different. This isn't the creosote days, but still, I'm just not a fan of that. I'd much rather just have a good composite surface and not have to worry about all those chemicals in there that are showing up and the maintenance involved. For me, it's worth the extra. Now, next up here, this is a good one. Asphalt roof replacement. We're talking shingles. So you're going to remove the existing roofing to bare wood sheathing and dispose of properly. That can be its own battle right there. Install 30 squares, 3,000 square feet of laminated roof shingles with new underlayment, galvanized drip edge, mill finish aluminum flashing, kind of basic. Assume a 5-square hip roof, custom flashing for 2 average size skylights, and custom cap treatment at a vented ridge. You got a 3,000 square foot roof here with, of course, the new shingle underlayment and all that stuff. Basically the basics for doing this. In New York, that roofing basic asphalt shingles is $39,371 with a 43.2%. National average is at $30,680 with a 56%. And out here on the West Coast in our East versus West challenge here, we're taking a look at it, and we're talking $30,316 at a 58.4%. Now, roofing in my area is slightly less money because I have a lot of different manufacturers here in Portland that make stuff, but still, that roof is expensive. Now, some of the things in certain areas that can make it more expensive is depending on what your asbestos legislation says and how you deal with it. Some places won't take that roofing material at the dump. They have to take it to a hazmat place or to a recycling place that recycles because a lot of roofing products still have asbestos in them. Now, are you going to breathe it? No, it's encapsulated in tar. Pretty hard to breathe that stuff. Nearly impossible. I'm not a doctor, and they still consider it asbestos-containing material sometimes. That can be its own battle, and that's really depending on where you live and how they deal with that stuff. Some people I know, you could dump that up at the landfill and go away. Some people go, hey, you need to take that out to the has place and drop it out there. You don't have to sit there and do it as far as bag it up and treat it like it's asbestos-containing material. In some places, though, they just recycle it. So that's kind of where that new technology is coming along. But really, that's the cost of a basic roof these days. And not getting into the expensive roofing materials, but that's just your kind of builder basic laminated roof shingle. So the next one here, this is a good one here. What's roofing replacement in metal? I don't want to go shingle. I want to go metal. We're talking about the same 3,000 square feet roofing bare wood sheathing. It's going to all go down. Install an ice barrier membrane on the roof perimeter and the valley areas. Premium grade synthetic underlayment. You're going to put standing seam metal up there. Install matching preformed accessories, starter, drip edge, gable trim, all those things. All the 2 average skylights, vented ridge, all that kind of stuff. Really the same roof. If you had one house, if you're looking at this house and said, for instance, if you were in New York, you went, okay, what's my asphalt shingle cost? And they came back and said, okay, what's the difference? And that would be $39,371. What's it going to cost me for metal? Metal jumps up $62,600 with a 36.3% return in New York. National average $49,928 with a 48.1%. And out here in my backyard on the West Coast, we're talking $48,522 at a 48.7%. But yeah, I love metal. If you're going to be there for a long time, it's a great durable surface. You'll get a lot of life out of it. And depending on the situation, you can get decades longer out of it in a roof. It's a great way to go. So here's the next one. This is one that you see people going on knocking doors, all that good stuff. We'll talk about that just as soon as Around the House returns. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Eric G, and I have a special offer for you. Do you want to get the podcast a couple days early? How about extended content that isn't in the typical podcast? Maybe you want to check out all the back episodes of the show. And I got a special deal for the first 10 days are free. I want to personally invite you to be an Around the House insider. For about $4 a month, you can get exclusive extended episodes, early access to the weekend show, and exclusive access to me, Eric G, for project questions or comments. Check on the link on your podcast player in the show notes or head to aroundthehouseonline.com and look for the join here button. Make sure and sign up today. As always, thanks for tuning in to Around the House. Water quality in your home is a hot topic right now. Everybody's talking about it. And are you worried about what you're drinking and you want to fix it once and for all? Are you tired of spending all that money on bottled water or a filter system that is expensive to run and maintain? I have a great solution for you. It's time you stop the damage and the worrying and check out Freedom Water Systems. They just changed their name from King Water Filters. This water treatment system takes care of every drop of water that comes into your house, uses no salt, no expensive filters to change, and it's made right here in the USA. Plus, it can prevent hard water scale. They have a solution for just about any water issue. To find out more information, head to freedomwatersystems.com, and if you use promo code ERIC-23, it will give you $1,000 off MSRP with a discount on the filter that will resolve those water quality issues. And if you need help, they have experts right on staff here in the United States to help you with your water quality issues. Don't miss out on this amazing sale on a product made right here in the USA at freedomwatersystems.com. That's freedomwatersystems.com. And don't forget, promo code ERIC-23.
Hey, this is Ron Keel, the Metal Cowboy from Keel, the Ron Keel Band and Steeler. We are rocking Around the House with Eric G.
Raise your fist!
Welcome back to the Around the House show, the next generation of home improvement. I'm Eric G. Thanks for tuning in to us today. If you're just joining us out on the Talk Media Network all across the country, we appreciate you tuning in. If you want to find out more about us, guys, just head over to aroundthehouseonline.com. And of course, don't forget my television show that airs in the Pacific Northwest and specifically in the Portland and, Oregon, Washington region, but you can check that out. It's called Around the House Northwest, as well as our YouTube pages. We got my own personal one here that's part of the radio show and podcast. We've got the TV show one, and those all links are over at aroundthehouseonline.com. I think we're at 600 videos now on the show, on the TV show. So we got a ton of content in there, from new products to testing to companies, how they make stuff. It's a lot of fun, and all the different stuff that we're doing over there. So something to take a look at. We've been talking today, cost versus value report. What are things costing you around your house? What would it cost to have a contractor come do the work? Now, I wanted to talk about this for a second before we get deeper into window replacement here. This is what it costs to really, as a hip shot number, on average, to have a pro come out and do it. You're hiring a contractor. Now, there are so many variables. This is not anywhere near a quote, but this is kind of what the averages are for the guidelines they have. And they go out every year and test it and take a look at it and see what the numbers are. Will some of these things maybe get more expensive this year? It is hard to say. I really don't know where 2025 is going to go. It could go down 10 or 15%. It could go up 10 or 15%. We just don't know where these numbers are going to go. And here in the beginning of February, I think they're going to go down, but we start getting into materials, and here's why, like roofing, for instance. Yeah, that's a really oil heavy product. There's a lot of tar that goes into that. So if oil prices are down, guess what? That tends to drag that down a little bit. If steel prices are up, that garage door or the front steel door might go up just a little bit. It's kind of like when you go out and eggs are crazy prices right now. Go get your favorite omelet. There might be a $1.50 surcharge when you walk in the door. It's just kind of what it is. So we'll get to a little bit of normalcy here pretty soon. And I think we'll have a better idea in a couple months of where, building material prices are gonna be. We just got to work through that stuff and see where it is. So that's my take on where we're at with that stuff. Now let's talk wood window replacement. So if you've got, let's set the basis point for this. Wood window replacement, 10 existing 3x5 double hung windows with insulated Energy Star simulated divided light wood windows. Interior finish is stained hardwood. Exterior is a clad aluminum to match siding. Replace shutters and exterior casing without disturbing the siding. So shutters, that's only in part of the country, but you get where they're going with this. So this is your wood window replacement. So out where you might see more shutters on the East Coast, because out on the West Coast they're definitely not as common. When you're taking a look at window replacement in wood, for those 10 windows installed, on average, $29,151. $29,151 with a 59.9% return rate. National average is about $25,799 with a 62.9%. You see the value returned is almost the same, but it's depending on what the costs are. If the costs go down, you get a higher rate of return with these. And that's kind of where the piece moves the most. Now, if we go back over here from East Coast to West, up here in Portland where I'm at, we're talking wood replacement. We're at $25,559 with a 61.5%. So we're right at kind of within a few $100 of the national average. That really helps us there. Now, vinyl window replacement is the next one here. And it's the same 10 3x5 windows. So simulated, divided light windows, same rules. Now, here's the thing with vinyl. I am okay with vinyl sometimes. And this is where I think we need to be a little bit careful with vinyl windows. I think they have their application. If you have a $2 or $3 million house and up, I better not be seeing vinyl windows in there. I mean, some places in California, that's every house. But really, for most people out there, if you have an upper scale house, I don't want to see vinyl in there. Now, vinyl can be really nice. There's, multiple colors. You can do black. There's a lot of different things you can do. But I want to make sure that you set those. It's like putting in a vinyl slider in a mansion. Nobody ever does that. Or if they do, you give them a side eye and go, what are you doing with that? So vinyl windows have their application. They're energy efficient. They're used in kind of entry to mid-level homes unless they're a premium. But still, you kind of want to be where you're at with that. But let's take a look at the numbers here and see. I mean, some builders out there, before we get to that, some builders out there are building expensive homes. I know people out there that are building $2, $3, $4 million homes, and the quality of finishes are better, way better, in a Champion or Skyline manufactured house. Drywall's better, finish is better, looks better. And you got guys out there that are building $2, $3, $4 million houses that I'm like, you need to go over there and talk to those guys about their drywall work because it's better than what you got at your house. I know people out there that are building $2 million houses and they're fighting with their builder because they don't want to put dimmer switches in. $400 worth of switches, but it's a $2, $3, $4 million house. Oh, that's not standard for us. It's like craziness. So think about that of each application of what quality should go into the house that's being built or remodeled. And that's a big key right there. So let's look at the numbers here on vinyl. So if we take a look here in New York, vinyl, 23,678 with a 55.3% return. So really, you're only talking about $5,500 kind of difference between those two numbers right there. Out of almost $30,000, that's not bad. Our national average on vinyl windows is $21,264. So that's not too bad. Here in Portland, where I'm at on West Coast numbers here, we're a little better, but we are still here at $20,490. But here's where we start getting good. That's a 72% return because of the price of the windows. So that really starts to save you some money right there. And I do like that. So really, and here's the thing, if you're out there pricing windows, I'll tell you what my rules are when people are around knocking on doors trying to do this stuff. First off, I never trust the person that goes, hey, I was in your area and I just thought I'd knock on your door. They're never getting my money. I don't care who they are, because I'm just not a door-to-door person. However, windows, especially wood, vinyl, that kind of stuff like that, when you're putting new ones in, if they don't flash that job correctly, it's going to cost you money in the long run. It's not about the quality of the windows. And here's the other problem that I've seen over the years of my, 30 plus years in the construction industry. What I don't like is some of the bigger companies that have their own air quote brand of windows. Because a lot of those guys don't make it through the next recession. So those lifetime warranties that you get that came with the windows don't exist because the customer's not around. The manufacturing plant's not around. And I think some of these companies go, hey, we're going to last 15 years. We're going to shut her down, start another one up, new brand, new name, and off we go again. So you really got to look at that and go, okay, do I want to buy it from a company that's been around for 40 or 100 years? Yeah, you do. That makes a difference because you now have a brand that's backed up with it. If you're out getting window quotes, just make sure that you're asking about what's the flashing, what's going on with it, and making sure that that's done correctly. And you know that the system they're using, so it's waterproof, so you don't have wood rot and more damage a handful of years down the road. Now, when we come back, we're going to dive into siding. What's siding cost on the outside of the house? We talking vinyl? Talking fiber cement? We'll do that just as soon as Around the House returns. Don't go anywhere. Are you a small business owner? Has business slowed down? How is your website? Does it look like it's seen better days and those are behind it? It's time you fix it with SciPipe Designs. My friend Johnny that you've heard on this show each week, yeah, that's him playing in the background, is my go-to web designer that understands how to get your website and web traffic where it needs to be, and that's making you money. If you want personalized service at a much lower price than those big companies out there, check him out at sitehypedesigns.com. If you want a rockstar website to turn your business around, you gotta hire the rockstar. Just wait till you see my website coming soon. It's absolutely amazing. Contact Johnny at sitehypedesigns.com before it costs you even more money. Let's get that business turned around. Guys, it's Eric G from Around the House Show. Is your barbecue just barely holding on and you need to upgrade it for the big game? We got you covered. Monument Grills was founded by three good friends in Atlanta, Georgia that wanted high-quality, durable grills inspired by iconic monuments. The grills are created for the person who loves to cook and are built to last and to enhance your outdoor cooking experience. What I love is that they are the best quality grills for under $900. So check out the American gas grill experts at monumentgrills.com. I bet you'll love to cook on one like I do. Check out the new standard in outdoor cooking at monumentgrills.com. All right. Welcome back to the Around the House Show, the next generation of home improvement. I'm Eric G. I wanted to let you know on this one because this is something that just happened this last week. I got an email from one of you, our friends, the listeners. And you know something? They messaged me, awesome, amazing message, and said, hey, why aren't we talking about X? And I'm saying X because I'm not going to give away what's going to be next week's show. But I turned around and found one of the ultimate guests to talk about something we haven't talked about in years that I didn't even think of. If you have something that you're trying to do research on and you want to find an expert on and you want it to be part of the show, head over to aroundthehouseonline.com, send me a message there, go, hey, Eric, I want to learn more about this. And if we haven't done it recently, I'll throw it in the queue for some shows coming up. And at the end of February here, we got some great stuff coming up as well. I'm going to be down at the Design and Construction Week show. We're going to be talking to some great people down there, talking about new products. That is where all the brand new products that come out for your home, all the new materials, all the new cool stuff, we talk about that. I'm going to be shooting videos. We're going to be doing interviews. We're going to be talking about all the cool stuff down there. Might even have some special guests that you see on TV. We got a lot going on that I can't wait to show you. By the way, this episode is brought to you by our friends at Monument Grills. Check them out at monumentgrills.com. Well, we've been talking about cost versus value here, and this is something that is really important. You get an idea of what things cost. If you're trying to save up or make some decisions on what you want to check out first, these are not quotes by any means, but they're kind of a ballpark. So you get a hip shot number of kind of what to expect depending on the specifications. So we talked about siding, and this is one of the ones why we haven't really talked about this a lot. Vinyl siding. Full disclosure, I'm not a fan. I don't like it. I think maybe it was because when it came out, it was kind of a fly-by-night knock on the door, and you could go into neighborhoods and go, man, they had a killer vinyl siding person in this neighborhood because they all bought it. And I think there's a lot of vintage, beautiful siding out there that is covered up because people didn't want to do any more paint. And they got a price that was close enough. They went, hey, lifetime warranty, put it on there. I never have to paint again. Well, we know that's not the case. You can get a number of years out of it. And two reasons why I don't like vinyl siding. One, it's loud. Actually, more than two here. A few. Three, number two on that outside of, let's go down the list. Loud. If it's cold, it'll break. If you're by a golf course, it's going to look like somebody's been shooting shotguns at your house. Or if you're in a hail area, that can go well, not well. It looks dirty pretty easily. So being vinyl, the lichen and mold and mildew needs a lot of cleaning on it. And 3, 4, you're stuck with the color. If you did a color that was hot in the day and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not a fan of painting it unless you're painting it lighter. And still, as it expands and contracts, you're probably going to see some lines of where the old color shows up because vinyl siding moves around a lot. It's pretty hard to paint that and make it look good. It'll look good at the same temperature you painted it, but if it gets hotter or colder, it can. And if you sit there and paint it darker, it can look like it just like a wilted flower as it slides off the side of your house because you painted it dark and it was a light color. And it wasn't made to be dark. It thermally breaks down and starts sagging off the building like a house fire. And it doesn't hold up to flames either well. We're going to replace 1,250 square feet of existing siding with this new vinyl siding replacement, including coil stock overall trims. Basically, they're just going to put the trim up, all those pieces in New York, vinyl siding replacement, $21,449. And that is 103.5% return. National average at 17,410 at an 80% return. And out here in the East, on the West Coast, you're talking $25,460 with a 60.4% return. Think about that. That is a huge one right there. Because in the West Coast and Portland, Oregon, they give that same project a value of $15,976, where in New York, they give that a $22,000 value. And it's less money to do it in New York than it is out here, because out on the West Coast, it is just not a desirable product in most places. We see it as something that is outdated, not beautiful, and not quality, where on the East Coast, it's way more prevalent. We have a kind of our nose in the air, I guess, out on the West Coast here with the vinyl siding. And maybe we see that a little bit more in higher end areas, but really out here, it is not a hot item. The value of that is way down. If in Portland, you're putting in vinyl siding, you're getting a lot less value out of it. Where in New York, you're only getting 60% here. You're getting 100% there. Actually, 103% there. That really shows you kind of the difference between that and what's popular regionally and what's not. That's what's cool about this list, is it really shows kind of the difference, and why I wanted to show the difference between East and West on this. And they've got a lot of major metropolitan areas. If you're out there going, man, what's it in Cape Girardeau, Missouri? Well, guess what? You can look it up on there. Cost versus value report. That's a big difference right there. Look it up in your area to see what the numbers are in your area to get those a little bit more finer tuned. Well, let's talk about, fiber cement siding. This is really where we're getting into the heavier duty stuff, the stuff that looks more like wood. Fiber cement, same 1,250 square feet of existing siding with new fiber cement siding. Factory primed, factory painted. All the right 4/4, 5/4 trim using either fiber cement or cellular PVC. That's what that is. If we're going to go fiber cement here in New York, now fiber cement is super common in our area here, just if you're an East Coast person. That's most common. We're talking 26,382 with a 77.6 in New York. The average price out there is $26,190 across the US, $20,600 with an 88.4. And here in my Portland area, West Coast, 24,608 with an 89.9% return. Again, you can kind of see where the value is. We get $2,000 more of fiber cement siding out here of value for the same product, where in New York, it's a little bit less. Actually, here's the crazy part. In New York, per their list here, they show $2,000 more value for vinyl than fiber cement. Where here on the West Coast, we have $7,000 more value of the fiber cement. There's our regional differences for what we see across the US, which is pretty crazy. The last one on our list right here is manufactured stone veneer. You're going to remove 300 square feet continuous band of, you're actually going to remove a 300 square foot continuous band of existing vinyl siding from the bottom third of the street facing facades, right across the front. Replace with adhered veneer, including 36 lineal feet of sills, 40 lineal feet of corners, one address block, include 2 layers of water-resistant barrier over bare sheathing, corrosion-resistant lath and fasteners, 1/2-inch mortar scratch coat, setting on bed, outline the archway using 8 by 10-inch keystone. We're talking manufactured stone veneers. This is the man-made stuff. This looks like stone. It's not the real stone. And it's also not, one of the composite fiberglass ones out there that you just nail on. This has got a lot more work on it. If I was doing this as a DIY project, I'd be doing it with the nail-on stuff because it's just much easier to do. And you don't have to have the stonemason skills to do it for many people. That's a great way to go to do that. And I love my buddy Dom and all of the people over there at Evolve Stone. And that's just a nailable stone veneer. That is good stuff. I really like it, and it'll save you a lot of money as a DIY project. So there's your little tip of the day right there if you want to do that stone veneer. So, New York, manufactured stone veneer, $12,720, 152.9% return. That's money where I come from. Now, nationally, that's $11,287 and 153.2. Really, you're close to New York. Out here on the West, $10,892 with 167.2% 0.5%. Even more value out here for stone veneer. It really shows when we look at this stuff how regionally these numbers, especially on the exterior stuff, how it really changes how we look at what's hot and what's not. Something that on the East Coast is hot and it's not out here, or vice versa. All right, guys. Well, that's our cost versus value report. And the deep dive and the review of this, you can understand between the numbers of what you're going to do around your house and what can save you some serious money. If you want to find out more, head to aroundthehouseonline.com and just Google cost versus value report. It'll come up. You can fill out your information. They'll give it to you for free. You got to sign up and tell them who you are, and they'll let you download your area. It's a great way to know what's going to cost in your area to do it. I really like these guys. Special thanks to the cost versus value report data and those guys. And so you can just go to costversusvalue.com. All right, everybody. I'm Eric G. Thanks for tuning into Around the House. We'll see you next week. Have an enjoyable weekend. We'll see you then.
Let's be lovers. We're all over the radio. Take my hand, I know where to go. All over the radio with you.
Are you a contractor, landscaper, or small business owner? Are you tired of renting or pulling that worn-out trailer to the job site? Is that really the best look for your company? It's time to up your game and check out the trailers from Summit Trailer. If you want the highest quality trailer you can own, they are proudly made right here in Oregon with a dealer network all along the West Coast. What I love about my Summit Trailer is that it's a dump trailer that was designed to work. I can load it up without having to worry about if it's going to be able to lift the load, and it pulls like a dream. This was built to work. So it doesn't matter if you want a dump trailer like mine or a deck over flatbed, tilt bed, or utility trailer. They got a trailer that'll fit your needs. Invest in your business with something you'll feel proud of, pulling up to any job site or your next project. Check out the best trailer in the West at summittrailermfg.com. Check out the dealer locator and find your nearest dealer at summittrailermfg.com.